Scott Frost says he has seen this movie before, but the problem is he doesn't seem to remember how it ends. The Nebraska coach lost a close game once again in week 0, and this 31-28 loss to Northwestern in Dublin is perhaps the most inexplicable of his 5 seasons. And that's what makes it so much easier to blame him and not an unlucky bounce for the program's 12th straight loss in a game decided by single digits. No luck of the Irish was needed in Dublin, just some common coaching sense. For Frost, common sense and game management is fleeting. It's also why the ending to this movie is so predictable. Frost will be fired, and he will be fired soon. Frost has had every opportunity in 45 games to fix Nebraska. Heck, folks close to the program wanted him fired late last season. Instead, they reworked his contract, set him up for one last opportunity for success or failure, and also decreased his buyout. And he responded by building the best roster yet in the transfer portal in that program. But then he followed up with a dumbfounding loss in Dublin, the 6th straight dating back to last season. Listen, players win games and coaches lose them. More importantly, coaches directly affect outcomes with their decisions in tight games. It's what separates the good from the bad and the great from the good. On Saturday, Frost called for an onside kick after taking an 11-point lead. It predictably backfired. Northwestern scored and then dominated the Huskers in the trenches on the way to victory. Frost said he would not make that call again. Well, it's too late. If the axiom is about coaching is correct, then Frost must be one of the worst coaches in modern college football history. Just listen to the numbers. In a sport which roughly 35% of games are decided by one possession, Frost has inexplicably exceeded the average. Nebraska's average games in the Frost area have been decided by one possession in an incredible 57.8% of games. The Huskers are 5-21 in those games, a terrible winning percentage of 19.2%. Fitting perhaps that you did not have to look beyond Nebraska's opposing sideline for a direct comparison and case study in Frost's failures. Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald, a future Hall of Famer and Big Ten coach killer, has made a living thriving in pressure situations. And unlike Frost, he's often made more right calls than wrong ones. He does a great job of managing players and his staff in those stressful circumstances. Fitzgerald improved to an incredible 49-30, a winning percentage of 62% in one possession games. No program in college football has more wins in single possession games than Northwestern during that time. Does that mean Frost, whose teams play in more tight games than average, is coaching up to the competition, or maybe he's coaching down with better talent? Well, that's not the question. Frost teams lose way too often when coaching decisions are magnified, and the numbers show he loses 8 times out of 10 when he can directly affect the outcome. Remember, Frost has seen this movie before. He told us that last season after a close loss to Illinois. The problem is this isn't a movie. This is real life. You think he'd learn a thing or two. I mean, at least the main character with amnesia in the film Memento was smart enough to tattoo his body with hints to help him in the future. Frost refuses to learn and just lets opponents tattoo his forehead with L's. By the way, if you're wondering, Frost's buyout drops by nearly 50% to $7.5 million on October 1st, 2 weeks after the Huskers host rival Oklahoma. In a career scarred by subpar numbers, Frost's time in Lincoln has hit the final countdown.